I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, no, this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain is overloaded, man, I'm losing it. Don't let them tell you what to do, man, they don't know shit. Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all.
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
To fight, to die, and this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done, but what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here,
There we go. Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. I hope everybody enjoyed that little new style waiting music, because just figured out how to do it. I got a mixer board on the screen, so I have like an actual mixing thing where I can control the individual levels. So when we get to the games part later, I can individually control now the game volume versus my mic volume. Yes, the tornado emergency in Texas was quite interesting. We might not talk too much about that because we got quite a lot to talk about with the snowstorm coming up tomorrow. Jose, hello. How is it going if you're still there? We will be quite busy tonight with the first part of the storms part. Talking about mostly tomorrow with the snowstorm coming through. And then there might be some other little storms here and there, but it really looks like tomorrow's going to be the focus of the weather for the week ahead. Yes, Raymond, you are correct. It is technically the same system. So the tornado emergency that we had in Texas, that's the same storm that's coming up our way. Disclaimer, we are not going to be seeing any severe weather out of this. We may be seeing some thunderstorm activity out of this, but that I don't think will be severe. And Jose, hello. All right, so let me get my maps on up here. And before we get started, I will be showing you the drink of the night. It's kind of interesting. It looks almost like antifreeze. So I'm calling this drink mix the Coolant with extra O's, the Coolant. Basically, 3. So basically, it's just Mountain Dew and Bacardi. So cheers, everybody. Believe it or not, it's actually quite tasty. And yes, Raymond, the hiatus weatherman. It is back a Tuesday. I am back. And it looks like I'll be getting more regular content now that I have my setup pretty much set and ready to go whenever I need to go live. So here we go. All right, so taken off guard by power flashes. Cheers, Jose. Technically the same system. Taken off guard by power flashes on Friday night. Yes. Not in my area, which is the New York City area, but yes, up by you, the power flashes from the power lines coming down was quite interesting. All right, so let's get going here. Transition on over. There we go. And all right, so to start off the show, we're going to be really talking about the storm tomorrow. That's going to be the focus. So right here, this is the National Weather Service, and they've been doing this fairly recently, I would say within the past year or so. Event summary. So we're not going to read everything. I'm just going to give some brief pieces of information out of this. So this is going to be a very quick moving storm that we're going to see tomorrow. And it's going to be a complex storm where we can really see every kind of precipitation out of this. So in our area in the tri-state region, it's actually the tri-state area is actually too big to really focus on. So some areas may not get any snow. Where I am, we could probably see potential for 2 to 5 inches of snow. That's the range of snow. Yes, we could see. I'm thinking more 2 to 3 inches, but yes, we are in that 2 to 5 inch snowstorm area just outside of the New York City region. So this is what they're saying is portions of northern New Jersey, lower Hudson Valley, southwest Connecticut. They're kind of just north of New York City. So I would say north of kind of like the Thruway area. That's where we're seeing most of the potential for the snow. Otherwise, it's going to be heavy rain. Yes, Raymond, you were talking about that. I'm glad you know about that on the radar, the correlation coefficient, velocity, just to check on the radar, because it does. There's a lot of information built into the radar, not just is it raining or is it not raining. All right, so heavy rainfall, 1 to 2 inches of rain, locally 3 inches in the tri-state. So this storm's going to have a frozen component and a liquid component. The liquid component could bring first the 2 to 5 inches of snow, and then on top of that, 1 to 2 inches or 1 to 3 inches of rain. So yes, it's talking about poor drainage areas. You want to keep in mind about any kind of low-lying area. There's going to be a flooding risk out of this. This is Wednesday into Wednesday night, because that's really where the storm is going to be. Small river and stream flooding possible. So if you do live on the banks of a river, you want to keep in mind that you might have some flooding issues. The next part about this storm is going to be the wind. Now, the wind here, this is really after the bulk of the precipitation comes through. So we're not going to have a lot of wind while the snow is coming down, and then when it transitions to rain, maybe a little bit more wind, but not much out of that. But then after that, Wednesday night over through Thursday morning, that's where we're going to see the winds. And it's saying the strongest winds are going to be along the coast. So this is saying the Long Island and the southeast Connecticut, so kind of like the shoreline of Connecticut. But overall, I'm saying the southerly winds 20 to 35 mile per hour. That's everybody. Gusts 35 to 50. And that's, again, more towards the coast. The Capital District, Raymond, I don't think there's going to be as much flooding because the bulk of the precipitation is going to miss that area, but because of the rain that happened already. The ground's already saturated. So it's possible, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as you get near the coast areas. Gale conditions are expected on the waters Wednesday evening, so if anybody's going boating, you might not want to go boating. Widespread minor, local to moderate coastal flooding, as I was just mentioning. This is anywhere along the northern Jersey shore, south shore of Long Island, and the south shore of Connecticut. Not so much the north shore of Connecticut, because it's just the way the currents are, but south shore of Connecticut, south shore of Long Island, and anywhere along the northern Jersey shore. So that's where we're going to see the biggest coastal flooding out of this. All right. Next, let's talk about the watches, weathers, and watches, warnings, and advisories that have been put out. And as we see, the bulk of this area, all of this like dark purple color, winter weather advisory. That's where we're seeing the bulk of the snowstorm. Once you get to the New York City area, no winter weather advisory because there's not really much snow impacting down there. That's where we're seeing more of the coastal flood advisory and just the flood watch for southern Suffolk County there. But most of this area, winter weather advisory, and here, winter storm warning. So this because of the higher elevation areas in Sullivan and Dutchess County, or at least western Dutchess County. That's where you could see even more snow out of this. Raymond, I would consider this more of a nor'easter, just because the definition of a nor'easter has nothing to do with snow or rain or the precipitation. It has to do with the way the storm is moving, and it has to do with the winds. So this storm, even though it's in Texas right now, by the time it gets to us, it's going to be coming up along the East Coast. And when it's coming up along the East Coast, we're going to be seeing counterclockwise rotation around the low pressure system. So that's where we have northeasterly winds, meaning winds coming from the northeast. That's what basically the definition is of a nor'easter. So I would consider this more of a nor'easter. So everywhere in this area, I would say you want to prepare tomorrow morning. Ideally, if you want to be prepared by tonight, you can. But if you don't have time, because it is late in the evening, tomorrow would be better. Tomorrow morning, specifically. All right. Actually, let me just bring up one of these winter weather advisories just to read it real quick. And this is more in line with what I was thinking. Snow and mixed precipitation. Total snow accumulations of 2 to 3 inches. Ice accumulation of a light glaze. So yes, there will be an icing period, which is also going to be causing some very slippery conditions. You're going to have a layer of snow, then a layer of ice, and then rain on top of that. That's going to cause some very slick conditions. So Connecticut, so basically all the areas I was talking about, and this is where the time frame's starting to come in. The winter weather advisory goes into effect at 10 a.m. Wednesday to midnight Wednesday night. So not tonight, Wednesday night, but tomorrow, Wednesday night. That makes sense. Plan on slippery road conditions. The hazardous conditions could impact the evening commute. So yes, that's going to be the focus. I would say is the, 3 to 6 o'clock time frame for the snow, and then maybe a transition from that 6 to 8, and then a little bit after that, going to the evening. The overnight hours. That's the rain. But we'll get into that in just a bit. Raymond, yes, I did see that, but some of the things I was seeing tonight or earlier today, not so much heading towards the Great Lakes and coming down, but we'll take a look at that in just a bit. All right. So I wanted to bring this up real quick here because this is a long-running thing. Very briefly, coming from the summer, we were in a pretty severe drought. Now, with all the rain and the snow we've been seeing, not snow, but all the rain we've been seeing this winter, the drought is pretty much gone. There's still some abnormally dry conditions out there in southern Suffolk County, or Sorry, Nassau County. I mixed them. Suffolk County. That's Nassau County. Southern Suffolk County. Suffolk County. That one's in the D1 category, which is the moderate drought. So it's still dry in some regions, but way better than it was. All right, so Storm Prediction Center. Raymond, this is kind of what you were talking about. So what this storm system was in Texas, it has now moved a bit east. So Louisiana, Mississippi, that's kind of the core of this enhanced risk of severe weather. Now this is for the day one outlook, which is today. So let's bump this up to tomorrow, day 2. This is where the severe weather really is. It's not really coming up our way. Yes, there is a thunderstorm potential out along the ocean. So the Jersey Shore or South Shore of Long Island might hear a rumble of thunder out of this tomorrow. But nothing severe. That's why the Storm Prediction Center didn't put anything severe out there. All right, taking a look here. Just very briefly, National Hurricane Center, there's nothing there. This time of year, I wouldn't expect anything to be there, but with things going on lately, you always got to take a quick peek at the National Hurricane Center, even in January. All right, so let's start getting into the meat and potatoes here. Here's our system. Let me refresh this, make sure that is the most up to date. All right, so there's the system, and as my college professor always called this is your big shrimp system. Now, the big shrimp or the comma-shaped systems, they're usually pretty intense because of the dynamics of the spin associated with this counterclockwise spin. You get that pretty intense line right around there, and that's what we're seeing with the severe weather now going through Louisiana, then going into Mississippi. It's still going to hit Alabama. But right now, the focus is just kind of right on the Louisiana-Mississippi border. Delvin, hello. How are you doing? And yes, Raymond, even though there's not an official severe weather season, it kind of is right. It runs from April to October. That's kind of where the severe weather happens. All right, so that's the big picture. In our area right now, very clear, very calm. Let me see, where is that? So when I bring this up here, it's clear. There's a few passing clouds. I kind of like this new weather graphic. Tomorrow, I don't know why this kept switching. This was 80% snow chance. Now it's 80% rain on that day. But it is showing snow and then rain. Might be a little bit longer of a snow period than the rain period that's showing there, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. All right. That's the big picture on the radar. Now the satellite, we can break into the system a little bit more. So I'm on long wave infrared radar at the moment. Boston is only at 7.4 inches for the season. You're talking about snow total. Snow for the season, right, Delvin? Because I was looking at this. Yes, Raymond, comma head. It looks like a big comma. But in the New York City area, we have not had any measurable snow since March of 2022. So it's almost been a whole year now since we had a measurable snow total, and that looks like it's going to change tomorrow. That you can measure it with a stick. Meg off camera asks, what does measurable snow total mean? So the answer is basically, if you can take a ruler and measure it, that's a measurable snow. We've had snow, yes, that's correct, but it's been so little, just that dusting, that you can't measure it with a ruler. We haven't had a measurable snow this season just yet. All right. Now let's take a look at Albany International Airport. Already has a winter storm warning. Yes, just because once you get more north, you're not really going to have that warm up, the warm sector of the Kamakyu. And these are the big players that are in the atmosphere at the moment. Right now, because it's nice and calm and fairly clear out, high pressure system over the area, a 1025 millibar high. Not the strongest, but also a pretty decent high pressure system out there. That's what's keeping everything clear, and that's kind of acting like a shield, all of the high pressure. A shield keeping the low away. But the high will start to move out, and when that high moves out, the shield moves out with it, meaning that low is allowed to come up to the northeast. Raymond, me too. I'm also in a winter weather advisory. All right, now let's get into the heart of it. The forecast models. Okay, so we're on the good old Tropical Tidbits website, and we're on the GFS model. High pressure, like I was mentioning, they have 1027, just about accurate. All right, so we're seeing our first traces here in the tri-state region of snow, and then again, a little bit south of, or just north of New York City, but south of New York state line with New Jersey. A little rain there. So that's starting 12Z, which is 7 a.m. tomorrow. Very light. It's a very light, but nothing just yet. That's going to be more so into the afternoon hours. That's why the winter weather advisories we were just talking about, they start at 10 a.m. They don't start before that, even though we might see some precipitation just before that. And that precipitation, again, is going to be just really light conditions. So advancing through here, we go from 12Z, 7 a.m. Oh, my button didn't click. There we go. To now, 18Z. So this is 1 p.m. Wednesday. There's your heart of it. That dark blue. That's really heavy snow. This is where we're going to be seeing maybe an inch or more per hour of snow. So this is what I'm trying to say is in the afternoon, the bulk of this storm, you have to be prepared for very low visibility conditions. It's not going to be windy yet. That's why there's no talk of the B word, a blizzard. There's no blizzard conditions. Because a blizzard is not dictated by the snowfall. It's also dictated by the wind and the visibility. So we might be having low visibility with that 1 inch plus per hour of snow, but the wind's not going to be there just yet. So that's 1 p.m. Wednesday. This is now 7 p.m. Wednesday. It has transitioned to heavy rain, periods of heavy rain there. And it stays like that throughout the tail end of the system. Now, we talk usually about with systems like this, and also, Raymond, to your point from before, yes, the low pressure is going to be passing through the Great Lakes region, but because of the shape of this comma or the big shrimp, even though the head of the shrimp is at the Great Lakes, the tail of it is heading right through the Northeast. So this is where I would kind of call this a little bit more on the Northeast or the Nor'easter side, but it's not exactly either type of system. It's kind of a mix between them. Yep, and you are exactly right. It could be blue sky sunny, but we can have what's called a ground blizzard, meaning we are having a blizzard because of the reduction in visibility and the wind. It has nothing to do with the sky. Now, once this makes its way through, the isobars here, these lines here, once they get tightly packed together like that, that's where we're seeing a lot of strong winds. So after this system, the temperature is going to be dropping quite a bit with windy conditions. So it's going to feel very blustery going into Thursday. And this is where we could be seeing a little bit of wraparound snow throughout the day on Thursday. Nothing in terms of really accumulations out of this, but you could see little bursts of snow that just are like 10 minutes long. Potentially, we could see a brief snow squall out of that, and then it's gone. Going into Friday, Friday looks like a pretty good day, and our next system doesn't really come until Sunday night, but we're not going to really focus too much beyond this main system. So from the GFS perspective, we are seeing light precipitation, mostly snow, starting about 7 a.m. Then between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m., it really kicks up. That's where the heaviest of the snow is going to be. Then we're still seeing heavy precipitation, but as we're in the warm sector now of the low pressure system, so you have a cold front. You can kind of follow this line here. So the cold front's coming through here. As the cold front comes through, which is the most vigorous part of the storm, behind the cold front is going to be usually colder weather, but then we have the warm front coming in right behind it, so that we have a very close cold front and a warm front. That's going to warm everything up very quickly. So there's the cold air mass and the warm air mass. So we have that front right there, and that's where all the warm air, the warm front, that's the warm front right there coming through. That's where we're going to be seeing the warm up, but still heavy precipitation out of it. All right. So that is the GFS. And we're going to take a brief pause right there. I'm going to switch now to the Euro. This one wasn't loading too well for me, so I'm just going to make sure it loads. And hang on here. Just going to step away for like a minute with that. And I should be able to, hang on, bring up some more waiting, and I'll be right back. It's kind of what I designed into this. Eventually, when I'm sponsored, hopefully when I'm sponsored, I'll have a commercial break. And that's what this is going to be. So I have that built in already. But anybody have any quick questions? I'll just bring this up here. I'm also going to bring up that waiting music again, which I kind of liked. Let me know what you think about the waiting music I had. This was under the intense search on the YouTube audio library. All right, so I'll be right back, and then we'll continue our weather discussion.
Down, it ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
yeah. There's There's no mercy in this world, just hunger thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain is overloaded, man, I'm losing it. Don't let them tell you what to do, man, they don't know shit. Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates.
All right, and we are back. I saw some comments. Needs more rock music. Okay, I can totally get behind that. Because we have a YouTube audio library as YouTube content creators, which is copyright free. So that's why I have no fear of just playing that music. But I typed in the category of intense. So that's supposed to be intense music, which it actually sounds more pop, not really rap, but more kind of popish. But I can put in, I guess, something like 80s, and that will come up. All right, so back to the discussion at hand. Switch on over. Cool. And there we go. My thing reset. There we go. We were on the Euro. And I double checked that the Euro was working on this page. I guess I just had to reload it. Also, cheers, everybody. All right, so let's take a look at the Euro on the good old Pivotal Weather website here. So now, This is showing the 540 line. Now, the 540 line is not the freezing line, but it's a very good indicator of where the freezing line is. So this is right smack dab over the New York City area. That's why we're seeing this transition of snow first and then rain. And the Euro at 12Z or 7 a.m. shows nothing. So we are within 12 hours now of this thing starting. And it's already not showing any consistency between the forecast models. And that's what brings the overall forecast confidence down overall. Just because 12 hours out, there's no consistency. But we're going to definitely take a look at everything. So by 18Z or 1 p.m., it is showing heavy snow, but the Pivotal Weather website here for the Euro also shows ice. The GFS does not show ice. Rain, freezing rain, sleet, which it didn't show in there, and snow. So the Euro does have a section in here for ice in the atmosphere. And it's showing that ice line, right? That's right where the freezing line is, exactly over New York City. So going north into the Hudson Valley, the north part of New Jersey, all snow. Oh, wow. You had some lines down. All right. So 1 p.m., all snow. By the time we get to 7 p.m., all rain. That's consistent between them. There's the big comma Q that we're talking about. So going through Thursday morning, there's that drop in temperature where the 540 line does move south or southeast, and the winds kick up. But Thursday looks like, again, it's going to be a blustery day. The temperature's going to be dropping throughout the daytime hours on Thursday. And then going into Friday, so it doesn't really show too much wraparound snow. Maybe some lake effect snow coming from the Great Lakes region there. That was really about it. Friday looks fine, and we're not really going to focus too much beyond that at the moment. So overall, after the start of the storm, the timing of the start of the storm was different between the GFS and the Euro. It looks like the models are consistent, at least the GFS and the Euro there. All right, switching back to the Tropical Tidbits website, we're looking at the icon now, which is the German model. I am at the very end of the model. Now, I only have I'm on the 18Z run, so it's only going 120 hours out. Since we're not looking too much into the week ahead, that's fine, because I just wanted the latest run from each of the forecast models. All right, so there's our 540 line. A little bit south. That means overall it's going to be a little bit colder. And 15Z, which is in line with what the National Weather Service was saying with the 10 a.m. start for the winter weather advisory. Now, overall, even though the 540 line starts more south, it warms up very quickly on the icon. The temperature ranges I don't trust too much with the icon model. Look at that intensity. So this is 10 p.m. on Wednesday. That is causing flooding. That is heavy, heavy rain. And then behind it, it's showing the same thing where the pressure gradient increases. So that means very windy conditions. And that 540 line is just dropped south. So windy and blustery conditions. Start time of the advisory in the capital district. Yes. Let's go back to here for a second. And we are going to go that way. So let's say kind of right in here. Also 10 a.m. So Albany International Airport. Let me just do Albany. Albany, New York. 10 a.m. as well. The Albany region is the winter weather advisory starts at 10 a.m. All right. Moving on to the NAM now. Now, the NAM, I always see as actually a little bit more accurate sometimes with winter weather, because this is a mesoscale forecast model, meaning the actual grid pattern is smaller. It's a smaller region that it's looking at a time. That's why here we see the 12 kilometer. So it's a higher resolution, shorter range. That did not go out. Actually, that might be enough for what we need. This is the 0Z run of the NAM. So this is just an hour ago. This is new as of an hour ago. So there is a little arm here that is ahead of the main precipitation. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. There could be some flurries here. So it actually looks like it's taking a little bit more of a westerly track. It's actually showing, yes, very heavy snow. Only for a couple of hours. And then it moves out of the New York City area and heads towards Boston. Raymond, this, I do not see a flash freeze happening. Because when we just taking the NAM here. Oh, it didn't go out enough. Let me just back up one. The 18Z run. The reason I don't see the flash freeze happening is because look at all the precipitation here. All this precipitation is in the warm area. And then it moves through before the pressure gradient increases. So it looks like the precipitation's ending and then the cold air comes in. It doesn't look like it's happening at the same time. That's where the flash freeze comes in. If the rain and then the cold air are kind of like butting up right next to each other, I don't see that happening. All right, so the NAM, even between the 18Z and the 0Z run, they are on a little bit more westerly than the other forecast models, which means more heavy rain than heavy snow. And we might see that when we take a look at the snow totals in just a bit. Yeah, this is showing the exact same thing, timing-wise for the end of it. Now we're going to an even higher resolution forecast model. That's on the 0Z, and that's not far enough, so I need the 18Z for that. Good. All right, so look at the 540 line at the start of this. It starts south of New York City. Like, this is going into... forgot exactly where that is. Just north of Belmar, I would say. That's kind of where the 540 line, just about the freezing line is. So it starts out fairly cold. There's that high. Oh, that's a 1029 millibur high. So strong high. Then that starts to dissipate. Here comes the snow. Here comes the snow. Da, 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 da. Meg found that funny. All right, so it's also showing a little bit of that arm ahead of the main precipitation. Ah, Raymond. So the 10-to-1, only some of them are locked in at the 10-to-1 ratio. The ones I'm going to show you now are not 10-to-1. They actually forecast and change the snow ratio based on the weather balloon data. So it's called total positive snow depth. When we look at total positive snow depth, it's taking into account the snow ratio and any melting that occurs on the ground. Yes, I know that's a little bit tricky because blacktop is going to melt faster than grass. I believe it's going off of the grass ground temperature, not the blacktop ground temperature. But the total positive snow depth takes into account ground temperature and the snow ratio. There are some, and then we'll see it. It actually will say, assuming a 10-to-1 snow ratio. But yes, anything like that that assumes a 10-to-1 snow ratio is not going to be very reliable because you may not have a 10-to-1 snow ratio, and then it's going to be completely wrong. All right, so that's coming up in just a couple of slides there. All right, so looking here, 20Z is when it's showing the bulk of this coming in. And it's coming in as heavy snow, but it's only briefly heavy snow. Then it turns to mostly heavy rain. And here, that could be, so let me click into here and we look at the sounding. Cape. We have any cape? Most unstable cape. We have a little bit. Only 101, is saying 101 joules per kilogram of cape. That's still a lot for January. We usually don't see severe weather until we get into the thousands of joules per kilogram. But that still means we could be seeing some convection popping off. So there could be a rumble of thunder. There could be just very, very few areas. And I'm going to say more towards the coast. But overall, I don't think there's going to be any thunder. But that's the line right there. And that's kind of the spine of the front. Right there. But also, Raymond, this is what we were talking about just before. That's enough for thunder. Yes, you are right. It is enough for thunder. But I don't think everywhere is going to see thunder. So right here at the spine, that's kind of where the front is. So we have the end of the warm air. The precipitation moves out. Then we see the 540 line start to move south of the area, but not fast enough, I think, for a flash freeze. Yeah, it'll be windy, but wind chill doesn't affect surfaces of objects for freezing. Only living creatures are affected by the wind chill, whether they be humans or cats or dogs. And then at the end of this, it's showing, so Thursday is going to be clearing out, but it's going to be a very blustery storm. You're very, very true, Raymond, that we can't use that 1,000 joules per kilogram of cape as the de facto rule. However, it is still cold. And the cold does have an effect with thunderstorms. So, yes, I think there will be some thunderstorms, but I don't think everywhere is going to see a thunderstorm. It's not like a single, let me just rewind that. I don't think this is going to be a single line of all thunderstorms throughout here. All right. So that was the 3-kilometer dam. One more before we get to some snow totals. And this is going to be the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. Let's take a look at what this has. Oh, that is on 1Z. I don't want one. I want 0Z. There we go. Okay. All right. So there's actually that little arm. So the NAM and the HRRR, both the 12 and 3-kilometer NAM and the HRRR are showing this little arm starting. What is this? 1213Z on Wednesday. Yes. Raymond, you are completely right there. But for this storm, you really need more cape with the cold temperature. But yes, during what you're talking about for the first part of spring into the fall, yes, you can have very high SRH and low cape. That is very true. All right, so this is 18Z. We still haven't seen any precipitation coming through yet. This, for the most of the area, completely misses the snow. And it's just showing heavy rain starting at about 5 p.m. on Wednesday. So I think the timing's right. But the freezing line, I don't think's correct with the HRRR. It's the only one that was this warm. But yes, timing-wise, I think this is correct. It actually moves it out fairly fast, and that's very interesting too. So it's kind of scattered as it heads through the tri-state region. Even going through Boston, it's still kind of scattered. But then once it gets... does make sense. Once you get back out to sea, it re-intensifies as a pretty strong line there. That pressure gradient is still there. Raymond, thank you. Meg is actually playing video games of her own right now. But Raymond wanted to give you a message. The message is, because we were talking about something called SRH. SRH stands for Storm Relative Helicity. Helicity is the key term there. And Raymond, can you define helicity for Meg? She's not a very sciencey person. She is very artsy. By that, I mean she has a master's degree in fine art. Not many people have that. That's why we balance each other very well. I'm the very sciencey, logistical person. She's the very creative, visionary person. She said, I'm her science bitch. Okay, I'll take that. All right, so Raymond, any definition that you have for helicity? I can bring up the official National Weather Service definition for that. Let's see. It's basically what we look for on the sounding chart for tornadoes. It's true, but it doesn't define what helicity is. Let me see if I could bring that up. Because the National Weather Service has a glossary. weather.gov/glossary. It is a free website. Free. Because your tax dollars are paying for this website. This is a government-run website. Helicity. Did I spell that right? Here we go. Okay. Wow, that is a lengthy definition. Let me zoom in on here for everybody. Helicity. A property of a moving fluid which represents the potential for helical flow. Flow which follows the pattern of a corkscrew. That's where the tornadoes come from. That corkscrew flow. Helicity is proportional to the strength of the flow The amount of vertical wind shear and the amount of turning in the flow, the vorticity. There's so many terms in here that you have to glossary check themselves. Atmospheric helicity is computed from the vertical wind profile in the low part of the atmosphere, usually from the surface up to 3 kilometers, and is measured relative to the storm motion. Higher values of helicity, generally around 150 meters squared per second squared or more, favor the development of mid-level rotation mesocyclones. Extreme values can exceed 600 meters per second, or meters squared per seconds squared. Does that help? She said she doesn't understand that. Sure. I put some enunciation in there. I'm a good voice actor. Where are we? GFS. NAM. HRRR. All right. Ooh, we're skipping. Nope. Wow. Back up. All right. Snow totals. This is what everybody was waiting for. Let's take a drink to that. All right. Snow totals. Why am I on the icon? This is out of order, but that's weird. This is very out of order. Anyway, we'll just go in the order that's here. All right, so the icon snow totals. Let's bring this up. There is your snow total for the icon. 1 to 2 inches. Okay. I agree with that. That's well within the range. NAM 12 kilometer snow total. This, I believe, is more accurate. 1 to 2 inches for right around the New York City area. But maybe not the 14-inch mark, but I think the 6 to 12-inch mark is possible in some of those areas with the winter storm warning. So Sullivan and Ulster County could see 6 to 12 inches of snow, and I would probably say on the lower end of the 6 to 12 region. NAM 3 kilometer now. This actually looks very accurate from my opinion. 1 to 2 inches throughout the area just north of New York City. So let's zoom in a little here. So 1 to 2 inches there for most of the area. Some spots along the Pennsylvania-Jersey border. So right around the Sussex County going into Pennsylvania. 5 inches it's saying. Okay, fairly accurate, I would say. And those areas in Sullivan, Ulster area, counties could see, again, 6 to 12 inches of snow. But focusing right around that 7-8 inch range. And we see that green spot right there. That is 12 to 16 inches of snow. It is possible. I don't think it's very likely. Again, possible. So I would say 6 to 12 inches. And if I say 6 to 12 and somebody gets 14, I'd say that's pretty accurate, although they'd say, you were wrong. Raymond, I like your thinking there. I would probably cut the Albany County totals in half of the NAM. So Albany is showing 7 to 9 inches. I agree with that. So I would say this is probably going to be more along the lines of 3 to 6. Again, here, Sullivan, Ulster County. That's probably where the highest snow totals are going to be. I would say Albany area, will match maybe a little bit more along the lines of northern Hudson Valley. Or I say mid Hudson Valley specifically. Northern Hudson Valley is getting that higher snow total. All right, now the HRRR. Not the 1Z. Let's go back to the 0Z run and run that out. All right, HRRR. This, from my own personal opinion, as a professional meteorologist, even though it wasn't the most accurate with the storm itself, the snow totals, I think are much more in line with what's going to happen. So if I was going to draw out a snow totals map, this would be the one I would mostly reference, is the HRRR. So here, 1 to 2 inches for most of the Hudson Valley. One to 2 inches there. Sullivan Ulster, again, that's the target there for a little bit higher. Maybe 4 to 6 inches. And some of the areas in that pinkish area, 7, 8 inches. 7 to 9, let's say. Yeah, that's possible. Okay. Then it drops off. Once you get to Albany, again, 4 to 5 inches, and then getting into maybe some pockets of 6 inches, but still not as much as that little area in Sullivan and Ulster County. So take a good look at this, folks. I would say this is going to be the most accurate representation of the snow totals for this storm tomorrow into Thursday. However, this is before the transition to rain. So yes, we're going to get snow, then a mix with some ice accretion in there. So snow, a glazing of ice on top, and then rain on top of that. But because there's such intense rain that's going to be finishing the system, I think any kind of snow accumulation during the day on Wednesday is going to be washed away overnight Wednesday into very early Thursday morning. So when you wake up Thursday, you may not see any snow at all in some areas. Okay. So that was the snow totals. Just very quickly, I'm going to show here the temperatures, just to kind of prove or show the emphasis on it's starting out cold. That is the wrong time. Hang on a second. Refresh that. There we go. We're going into the day on Wednesday. The morning hours kind of hover right around the freezing point there. And it stays like that. Actually, it hovers around the freezing point until, so this is 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So by 8 p.m., it's going to be upper 30s. Yes, Raymond, you should be concerned with the flooding. Because, yes, it was soggy already from the rainstorms we've had. But also, we're going to be having that snow and then rain after that. And that rain is also going to melt the snow. And then the snow and the rain are going to just kind of slosh together. And these temperatures, once we get into overnight Wednesday into Thursday, just keep going up. There's going to be all rain. But here, the rain kind of ends by, I would say, 12Z or 7 a.m. Thursday. And look at the temperatures. They're all still above freezing. But then we start seeing the temperatures drop like a rock in some areas, especially in northern New York. But dropping down, again, this is a more gradual drop. That's why I'm saying there's not going to be a flash freeze, because the drop of temperature is not going to be rapid. All right. What was the last one here? The moss data. Let me just bring that up real quick here before we play some games and probably watch me struggle with the Minecraft that we chose for tonight. Yeah, there it is. Let's do KALB, KISP, KHPN, KWRK. Wait, what was Newark? WR something. I don't think that was it, but let's just bring it up. Let's see what happens. All right. This is where the temperatures are going to be deceiving. I've had this question from some coworkers at work. They look at the weather and they just see the high temperature. Because the weather app shows the high temperature, but it doesn't show when the high temperature is actually happening. The high temperature could be happening at dawn, and the temperatures drop throughout the day. So that we're going to be seeing more Thursday. But for Wednesday, temperatures are going to be cold to start out the day. Stay cold through most of the daytime hours. Then overnight, the temperature is going to increase. So yeah, we might see a 40-degree high. But that 40-degree high is hit at 10 p.m. Once you're in the afternoon hours at 1, 2, 3 o'clock, it's still going to be around the freezing point. Just taking a quick peek at the look ahead. So now we're on iSlip. So this 49-degree high for iSlip is showing on Wednesday is not going to be during the day. The high of 49 is going to be hit overnight. So it's kind of inverse of normal. And then after that on Thursday, again, Thursday morning is going to be the high. 47 is going to be in the dawn to pre-dawn hours. Then it's going to drop off. And then we're going to see these highs in the upper 30s on Friday. Then stabilizing a little bit more in the upper 30s to low 40s, maybe mid 40s throughout the weekend. All right. And then the very last thing here, let's just validate everything and kind of conclude everything I've been talking about for the past hour now. Snow, Wednesday, before 4 p.m., then rain, snow, and sleet. High near 40. Again, deceiving high, because the high is not during the day. Wind chill values between 25 and 30, because the winds, it's also a little bit deceiving on the National Weather Service's part, because those wind chill values are not going to happen until overnight Wednesday. New snow and sleet accumulation of 1 to 2 inches possible. I would probably widen that range a little bit. I would say, if I was this forecaster, 1 to 3. Because these, usually I have a set range of snow. 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12. It's kind of the range that when I was working at the FiOS 1 news station, that's what the chief meteorologist kind of rolled with. And I like that because it gives you wiggle room. Wednesday night, rain and sleet becoming all rain after 7 p.m. Maybe a little bit after that, I would say, but also rain could be heavy at times. Yep. Temperatures rising. So they actually write it out here, which I like better than what they said for Wednesday. Temperatures rising to around 45 by 1 a.m. Yes. Breezy with an east wind 15 to 20 miles per hour. That is true. Dropping off after midnight. Okay. Yep. Wind winds could gust as high as 32 miles per hour. Also, from television, don't put specifics. Winds could gust as high as 32 miles per hour. No, I would probably say winds could gust as high as 35 miles per hour in 5 mile per hour increments. New sleet accumulation of less than half an inch. So I'd say quarter to half an inch. So yeah, I like that last part. Thursday, breezy, partly sunny. Winds 15 to 21 miles per hour. That 21's again not necessary. 15 to 30, I would probably say, or 15 to 25. Actually, I see what they're doing. So I would say 15 to 25 mile per hour winds with gusts as high as 35 miles per hour, not 33. I feel like I'm schooling whoever wrote this. All right. Well, that looks like it's concluding. Circling right back to the very beginning here for this forecast for tomorrow. So going back to the beginning, 2 to 5 inches of snow overall. Some areas could see up to maybe 8 inches of snow, but no matter what the snow total is, wherever you are, it's going to wash away because there's going to be heavy rain overnight Wednesday into Thursday because the temperature is going to increase overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Those wind gusts, yes, 20 to 35 mile per hour. They're doing the 5 mile per hour increment in this event summary. So 20 to 35 mile per hour gusts, 35 to 50 miles per hour. And again, those 50 mile per hour gusts are more so along the coast because water has almost zero friction on it. So when the winds are coming off the ocean, they're experiencing almost no friction until they hit the coast. Once you go past the coast, the friction slows the wind down. Gale conditions for anybody going on the water, I would say avoid the water for the next 2 days. Widespread minor local to moderate coastal flooding, and I would even say inland, we could definitely see some flooding too. All right. So that will conclude the storms part. There we go. Hello. That will conclude the storms part of this stream. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to continue with the games part for a little bit. Hang on here. Raymond, you asked for more rock music. Let me see if I could bring up some rock music right now. Let me just get to that YouTube. Oh, I should just keep this open. The YouTube audio library. Once it decides to load. I also like this ability I have to just have a waiting screen. All right, let's see what happens when I type in rock. Doesn't really sound like rock like I'm thinking. I know you can't hear it. That's the point. I'm previewing it right now. Okay, this sounds a little better. So we're going to hold on that. All right, so I'll be right back, and then we'll get into some Minecraft. All right, I am back. Thank you all for waiting. Also, refresh the drink. So, cheers. One last quick thing I wanted to say. So, this is something I know, Raymond, you were talking about being a big advocate for. But everybody, I think this year should be the year you get a weather radio. Here, there we go. All right. So the weather radio, I have one here. So this is not a specific weather radio. This is called a GMRS radio. So basically it's like a regular walkie-talkie that you can get. Little click button there. And it is a more powerful version of that, so it can get longer transmission range. But it does have the NOAA weather radio channels programmed into it. So I could turn that on. And it's called GMRS, just like a regular walkie-talkie you get from Walmart or Best Buy or something like that. You have channels set up, but it also has a button. If you press and hold, you'll get the weather radio. Also depends on where you are. Since I'm on a fairly interior room, the transmission doesn't sound the best.
At the battery, high tide is at 10:40 p.m. Wednesday. Low tide is at 4:47 a.m. Wednesday and 5:20 p.m. Wednesday. At Kings Point, high tide is at 1:45 a.m. Wednesday and 2:05 p.m. Wednesday.
Hang on. Anyway, small sidetrack, but this has that NOAA weather radio in it.
The temperature was
And for anybody in the tri-state region that happens to have a radio that you can receive transmissions from, but not necessarily a weather radio, the frequency for the New York City area for the weather radio is 162.550. So this is, again, doesn't work as well the more interior you get into a building. So this would be best near a window to get, with the antenna, a good signal. But also, the antenna can unscrew. So you can get a better antenna for something like this. And you can get better receiving transmissions. I'm going to turn that off. There we go. And now we're back on regular radio. So I would encourage everybody to get something like that to have as a NOAA weather radio. I've had this on a full day and it lasted with still like 30% battery left. So it has a pretty good battery and a hot swappable battery. So I would say this is the year to get a NOAA weather radio. If anybody has not gotten a NOAA weather radio already. Johan, hello, how are you doing? Yes, the NOAA weather radio is very important. Where did I get this radio? So, funny enough, this was what I asked for a 1-year anniversary gift from Meg, which she's on the side over here. But, I think this was called buy2wayradios.com. Let me just see if I can pull that up real quick here. Yes, here we go. So let me bring this up quick before we get into the games. All right, so this is the website, buy2wayradios.com. I've been actually watching a lot of GMRS and ham radio videos online. And this was a website a lot of people were recommending for different things. And you can get radios specifically for different uses. It's like this radio here. In the retail store I was working, that's the radio we use, which is a business band radio. You can get air band radio, so you can actually hear transmissions from airplanes, amateur radio, CB radio, handheld, mobile radios, all these different things. But right here, weather radios. I got the GMRS radio here, but If you click on weather radio, you can get a very cheap and simple. This is $35. Oh, it's out of stock. But $35 Midland weather radio. And it actually says right here. So see the picture, it says tornado. It shows the tones. Actually, the National Weather Service emits tones for different weather alerts. So it can hear those tones and put on there and say tornado. So you don't even have to listen to the weather radio. You can just see and it says tornado. And if you see tornado, take shelter immediately. But there are NOAA weather radios that you can get here. Some are battery powered. I've even seen some that are crank powered, so that they technically have unlimited battery range. Just to recharge it, you just crank the handle and it goes. But this specific radio. So Johan, you were asking about this. Did you get the cheese radio too? No, I did not. Yes. We got the ham radio, but not the cheese radio. So you can't make a full sandwich out of it. But this is called, what is this? KG935G. KG935G. So it looks like it's on sale. Oh no, it's the regular price, $149. So this is the radio that I got. GMRS is a very interesting band because technically you need a license for it. It's very cheap. I got one. It was like $30, and there's no test or anything because with the ham radio, you have to still pay for the license. You have to pay to take a test, and you have to pass the test. It's a lot of sciencey stuff. Ham and cheese radio, yes, Raymond. Been looking to get one of the NOAA weather radios. I would definitely say that. So you don't necessarily need to get something like this, which is a GMRS radio. This is good to have because where Meg and I live and where my parents live is about 3 miles apart. My goal with this was to set up a system, maybe with a repeater in the middle I might need, but to be able to radio 3 miles away from where Meg and I are to my parents. So if the cell phone network goes down and the internet go down, we can have a point-to-point communication system in one of those advanced emergencies or something like that. So you don't necessarily need to spend $150 to get a radio like this. You can definitely get a cheaper weather radio. Ham radio are the ultimate for the apocalypse. Yes, hang on a second. I do have one. All right, I am back. So now that was a GMRS radio. It's funny that this turned into a radio discussion. That was a GMRS radio. It looks very similar. Here are the two radios side by side. There we go. The GMRS ham. They look very similar, but the only difference is the frequencies that they can use. So the GMRS radio can listen to all of the ham radio frequencies, but it cannot, well, most of the ham radio frequencies, but it cannot transmit on ham. This is a ham radio. And yes, it can still get the NOAA weather radio. You just have to, the challenge with ham is it's very frequency based. So that radio frequency that I read to you before, I forgot what, something like 162.550. You have to know what that is and type it in. So here I have 2 radio frequencies, and you can listen to 2 at once on this. So I have a ham frequency that looks like it's unused in this area. So I can use that ham frequency, which actually does have more range. Ham frequencies have more range than a GMRS frequency. So I can use that frequency to communicate also with my parents, potentially without a repeater in the middle. But also, since all of these can listen to a bunch of different frequencies, I looked up the fire dispatch channel. So Johan, you might be familiar with this since you were a volunteer firefighter. So for Rockland County, this is what I found, that the frequency is 470800. That's the frequency that I can listen to for any fire dispatch. So it's on right now. I can't transmit on there. If I try and transmit on that frequency, I get an error message that comes up on the radio saying you cannot transmit. I can't transmit on there, but if I switch to the other frequency that I have there, which is a ham frequency, nothing. Because I can transmit, it's just technically, I just committed a crime. Oh my God, no. Technically, you're not supposed to transmit on a ham frequency without a ham license. No one's really going to come to you. But anyway, you're supposed to have a ham license before you do that. But what's neat with this is you can transmit on the ham. The other one I could transmit on GMRS. And I can listen to the fire dispatch frequency that's in the area. The police dispatch frequency is actually a digital signal, so it can't be received by one of these. Yes, county frequencies are reserved just for the emergencies. And these 2 radios are both FCC approved radios for GMRS or ham. Neither of those frequencies are the emergency frequencies. So if I try and transmit on the GMRS radio on one of those emergency frequencies, it won't let me. You just saw when I try and transmit on the ham radio for one of those emergencies, it won't let me. So if you get one of those official radios that are FCC approved, then you're good. But I do have a third radio that is the UV5R from Baofeng. The Baofeng UV5R is known worldwide, but technically that is an unlocked radio, so it's not FCC approved. So with that radio, I have not done it on the fire dispatch channel. Because technically, if I transmit over the fire dispatch and I'm interfering with the fire response, that's a felony. So I'm not going to do that. However, the weather radio frequency, I was able to transmit on the weather radio frequency. I do not recommend that, and I'm not going to be doing that again. But, again, yes. I was able to transmit on the NOAA weather radio frequency, which is very not allowed. But I just clicked the button and it worked, so I just did it for like a half a second. That is an unlocked radio, which you can get over Amazon, but you should not do that. Yes, you would get a federal agent knocking on your door, Johan. That is true. I didn't because there were no transmissions happening. I never even tried to transmit on the fire frequency. I only transmitted on the NOAA weather radio frequency, which again, you're not supposed to. Disclaimer there. So when I transmit, it actually interrupts the NOAA weather radio. So if you're listening to NOAA weather radio and I transmit on the NOAA weather radio, it will cut the NOAA weather radio signal to everybody in the tri-state area, which is what happened that night I tried it. So don't do that if you buy one of those unlocked radios. And yes, the cops went to digital to be more secured. You can still get a police scanner, which will scan for the digital frequencies. If I tune to the digital police frequency on these radios, it would actually just sound, and I've listened to it, it just sounds like digital frequency garbage. So I can't understand it. It just sounds like radio or frequency tones. There's no spoken language through it. Yeah, don't transmit emergency alert tones. You get in a lot of trouble with the FCC. Not just the FCC. Oh, you probably have the FBI also knocking on your door. Excuse me, sir. Because the FCC actually can't issue any warrants for arrest or anything like that. Depends if they are encrypted. Yes, so Clarkstown PD that we're in, they have an encrypted, what's called trunked radio system. So if I tune to the frequency, I can't hear anything. And if I tune to that on the unlocked radio and I try and transmit, they won't hear anything either because it's an analog signal being transmitted to a digital system and they just don't talk to each other. So it's kind of pointless. All right. So that went down a little radio discussion. Let me know if anybody is interested in learning about NOAA weather radio or any of the other types of radio systems. I could put up some videos from what I learned about. I bought 2 radios. Meg gifted me 1 radio. So I have 3 total radios of different types. I have a GMRS radio, a ham radio, and an unlocked radio that can transmit anywhere. Okay. Let's bring up the Minecrafting for a little bit. So I switched the audio mixer to Minecraft. I hear it a little bit. It's very soft, but we're in also the menu, so let me bring that up. All right, Minecraft. Now, I tested these 2, Games and Storms and Games and Storms 2. I am in almost the same situation. I'm in the dark with no weapons, and there's a lot of things trying to kill me. So, let's see what happens. And I need to bring this back up. So you should hear it once the game actually starts. Let me know if it is too quiet. So I have the game audio and the mic audio, which sounds like, since everybody can hear me fine, the mic audio is doing pretty well. Oh, wow, Raymond. I didn't know that. Fox Sports in 2019 or 2020 did emergency alert tones on the Eagles versus Giants pregame and surprisingly didn't get fined by the FCC or FBI. So, actually, let me just bring that up real quick. Hang on. I learned this. So, ham radio, you need a license. So, if I start transmitting on a ham frequency, initially, nothing's going to happen. But if somebody's listening and they're kind of, being an asshole, they can report me to the FCC. However, number 1, I don't have a call sign for ham. I have a call sign for GMRS, but I don't have a call sign for ham. So the FCC, all they're going to say is if this person that's an asshole calls the FCC and there's somebody transmitting within 30 miles of the New York City area, they'll be like, okay, thank you. Any information about me if I don't transmit the information about me. Right, but that didn't happen yet. So when I do that, nobody knows. So if that person tries to report me to the FCC is not going to do anything because they don't have any leads to go by. Even if they did, and I told that person, my name is Andrew, I'm a weatherman in the New York City area, but I gave them all my information or something like that. If they report all that information to the FCC, all the FCC is able to do is send me a letter. They're going to send me a letter saying, please do not transmit without a ham license. That's it. It's similar. The ATF for firearms is in a different class of situation, but agencies like the FCC and the ATF, all they can do is enforce rules and send letters. Now, the ATF has been known to knock on your door and serve a warrant if they get a warrant from a judge to search your premise. The FCC cannot do that, and technically the ATF cannot do that. The ATF does that because they think they control everything. The FCC is very understaffed. They maybe only have a couple hundred agents for the whole country. That is not a lot. That is not enough. So they don't have enough time and effort to investigate every potential ham breach of license or whatever. However, I have heard stories of a ham operator that didn't have an FCC, so they weren't really an operator, but they had a ham radio, and they actually had they didn't have a ham license, but they had a ham radio. They were in an area in the west of the U.S. that had wildfires. They were able to communicate over their ham radio to the helicopter that was dropping water. So they directly connected to the helicopter pilot to tell them to drop water over a certain area that was their property area. That was an interference with a search and rescue and fire operation for wildfires. That was a big problem because then you're interfering with government agencies. That person got a $50,000 fine. So as long as you're not interfering with anybody, the FCC is not going to do anything. And Raymond, yes, there is a big difference between me and a national television audience. But even so, with the national television audience, they didn't do anything, like you said, because it didn't interfere with a government thing, a government operation. Anyway, back to the game. All right. Let's try games and storms here. We'll just see how long I last. Oh, there is... I forgot what those are. The skeletons trying to get me. I hear it trying to shoot me. Ooh, that's very low. Let me know if you can... I can barely hear anything. I might need to up... Hang on, I might need to up the volume. Oh, master... Yeah, let's up this all the way. Now, let's see. Oh, okay. Now I can hear everything. Let me know if you can hear everything too, and it's not too loud. I don't think I respawned too far from where I got killed. I have no idea where I am. You know what? Let's treat this as a fresh start. I might just dig a hole and camp out till morning. I need to get away from all these mobs that are trying to get me. Oh, I don't know, Delvin, if you're still here. Since this is a new game, what was the command to show the home point? Or the XYZ coordinates? Oh, there's water. Let me get to a water source, because I know they can't go into the water. Usually when I start a new Minecraft game, I like to camp near a water source. You know, like humans do. And we're in the water. Thankfully, the squid are not hostile at any time of the day. Oh good, I see the sunrise coming up very shortly. Yeah, Raymond, I'm gonna have to look a little bit more into that because I've heard of that, but I didn't really know what happened. Function F3 or Command F3. Command F3. Didn't work. Where's my FN F3? There we go. Function F3 on the Mac. That was it. Now I have it. Thank you. There's the sunrise. The mobs should be ending. Okay. So even though this is not a new game, I'm going to treat this as a new game. It's over here. I thought I saw lava over there. Awesome. Thank you, Delvin. Yeah, have it on in the background. I'm still here. I'm gonna just check one quick thing here. Nice having multi-monitors. I'm just checking the activity monitor on the Mac here. Alright, so from my experience now with this Mac that I have 64 gigs of RAM in it, I was RAM limited this whole time. I had at most 32 gigs of RAM in every system I've had before that I did editing on or streaming from, or 16, like the gaming computer I have. I only have 16 gigs of RAM in there. Right now, I'm using 37 gigabytes of RAM. And there are points where I do have up to 40 gigs of RAM used. I had no idea the RAM limit was the issue I've been having. But the laptop I've had, now it has the M1 Max. I'm not upgrading to the new laptops, and the 64 gigs of RAM. It's been fine. I am using probably about 90% of the M1 Max's GPU. 80 to 90% bouncing in there. But it is running totally fine. So, awesome. Alright, back to the game. Alright, sun is up. Let's make a new home here, shall we? Oops. Wrong screen. Hang on. Gotta see the comments. There we go. Oh, tornado warning in Baton Rouge. Yeah, and that's the same system coming up our way. So this is a pretty intense system that we've been looking at for the past hour. Johan, have a good night, and I will say hello to Meg for you. Johan says hello. Actually, Johan, if you are still there, I might text you very shortly about something. So keep an eye out. Okay. Back to the game. In a minute. Hang on. One of my friends that was watching the stream, He texted me and said, "Stop incriminating yourself." The FCC really has no authority to do anything if I'm not interfering with government agencies, and I'm not. But again, don't do it. Don't transmit on the National Weather Service frequency or any fire or police dispatch channel. Okay, so Johan, if you are still watching, I just messaged you with what I wanted to tell you, so let me know. Either way. Okay, so now back to the game. So I'm probably going to make my camp here. Oh, hang on. Okay, there we go. We're not going to go for too much longer. Casual little Minecrafting. Ooh, lots of sugarcane. But sugarcane is used in a lot of things, so I do like that. Kind of like this area. There's some stuff off to the right. Some stuff off to the left, and that actually looks like an open ocean. I will have to make a boat for that. But let's say I want to... Oh, I guess this is a new game. I have nothing but the sugarcane I just cut down. Or broke off with my hand. So I need some wood. I don't know where else in the world you can chop a tree with your hand. But you can do that here. Oh, I forgot I have one of these on. So for anybody listening, this is the fire dispatch in my area. Normally, after the tone like that, there's supposed to be a dispatcher coming on. There we go.
Department 9, Lieutenant Automatic Alarm, Paramount Country Club, 60, Sugar Road. Department 9, Lieutenant Automatic Alarm, Paramount Country Club, Sugar Road. 5WQ76961.
Alright, so I will turn that off now, but that is what the fire dispatch frequency sounds like and what the fire dispatcher sounds like. Raymond, that is a good question, and if I worked in the National Weather Service, which maybe one day I will, I would answer that then, but right now, I don't know. Because penny-sized hail is not severe criteria. I think what they're thinking is anything that has to do with hail is severe criteria. Even though when you look at the official glossary and terms, quarter-sized hail is what it takes to be considered severe potential, not penny size. But usually, like you're saying, with 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail, yeah. So My only guess is they have to do with a velocity, or sorry, an energy impact. Because if you have 60 mile per hour winds, so penny-sized hail moving at 60 miles per hour versus quarter-sized hail moving at 20 miles per hour, maybe they're looking at an energy impact. Because they might be equivalent. Quarter-sized hail moving at 20 miles per hour versus penny-sized hail moving at 60 miles per hour. That might be what they're kind of looking at there. All right. Anyway, let's take this wood and craft some things. We're going to make some planks of wood out of it. Out of the raw wood. And then one more. Out of this. We got a crafting table. And we're going to make some sticks. And out of the sticks, we can make a shovel. For that, I need the crafting table. So for now, I'm going to keep that. I'm actually going to claim, I think, this area. So we're going to clear out some more wood. Cool. And I see the sun right above me, so that means we're about noon right now. And one more tree to cut down. New recipes unlocked. Awesome. That looked like I had cut down an oak tree, and this is a birch tree. All right, and that's gonna clear out by itself. Let's just start building, and I need some dirt for that. So let's get some dirt from over here. We'll leave these trees in place for now. You don't want to take down the whole forest, just what you need. And thank the forest. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Let's take a peek underwater here. There's some seaweed. Right? Nothing really happened in here. I'm not promoting deforestation, Raymond. I'm saying only take what you need. As a single person. Very funny. All right. Maybe I'll utilize the tree as part of my design, but get rid of some of these leaves here and maybe get some more sprucelings. Oh, I did not see that was updated. Meg, the doomsday clock is pretty much at midnight now. The doomsday clock is pretty much at midnight. We're about to die. Not again. That was a reaction, not again. Alright, let's see what I'm gonna do here. Maybe I'll make this the wall. No, I know what I'm gonna do. I see a spruceling over there I'm gonna take so I can plant some more trees. See, planting trees is not deforestation. "90 seconds away from doomsday." I'm sure the war in Ukraine had something to do with that. We're gonna make this the final wall. Ooh, we got some more sticks out of that. Cool. I see the sun setting, so I'm gonna have a shelter by the end of this, which is good. I need some more dirt. And very quickly, I need some more dirt. Just need to close this in. Oh, almost. Oh man, this is gonna be cutting it close. Not what I wanted, but let's see if that's enough. Moon is out now. Oh man, I'm in the dark. Need to finish this super quick. I'm just gonna shorten this for right now. Oh man. Need a little more. Thankfully, nothing has come up this way. Oh, I don't want the water. Cool. Okay. I can see out, but no one can see in, and we're gonna close that off there. Okay, I am enclosed and I am safe. We're gonna kind of just wait by the window and let the sun come up. I see. So nuclear threats from Russia. Yeah. Climate change in action and the future pandemics from deforestation and habitat loss. Sounds like we're doomed, thus the doomsday clock. While this is going, see if there's anything else interior I can do. Nope, not really. Just, I guess, going down. Okay, so I have a window out this way. I do see one of those big spiders over there. I have a window on either side there. I might want to make a window over here. Cool. And let's see if I can make a window this way. Alright, so I know nothing can still get me on either of these sides. Spider can't come in through one square. So I can see in all 4 directions. Gave me a little bit more headspace. Cool. And see in all 4 directions. But nothing can actually get me. Potentially a skeleton can still shoot an arrow at me. But that means I have to be standing right in the middle there. So, let's go down. Maybe not that for now. Little step. Okay, now we're good. So good there, but I think I'm gonna close that. Okay, so nothing can fall in. Sand is tricky because sand moves. Dirt doesn't move. Okay, that cleared that. Good. We're done here. Now we can keep going down. Ooh, we're at stone. I can't get through the stone just yet. Since I'm in my place, maybe I'll make my work table here somewhere. Very carefully do this. Okay, there's a spot for the crafting table. And that is still big enough to come through, so... Nope, wrong side. Nothing can still come through now. And I'm still protected. I have a spot for a crafting table. Crafting table, awesome. Delvin, let's see. Climate change in action due to car dependency is a big problem. Thus, my YouTube rebranding as the Electrified Weatherman, because I am off gas completely now. Electric car and an electric motorcycle. Transportation emissions, especially from private automobiles and car-dependent cities, and a lack of HSR as an alternative to flying across the continent. HSR, high-speed rail. Interesting. So, since I'm in the New York City area, the subway system in New York City is one of the main ways to get around the city. You have subway, you have bus, and you have taxi. Yeah, you do have the private ones like Uber and Lyft, but they're not really the core of the city when you think of New York City. You think of New York City buses, subway, and rail. Or not rail, taxis. So if those three main things can be transitioned to electric, which some of the subways are electric already. Electric subways, electric buses, and electric taxis. That'll be a huge reduction in CO2 emissions. All right, it looks like the sun has come up back here. Actually, hang on. I think I want that to be the back. I want a beachfront. Here, or a waterfront. Here's my waterfront. Alright, so that's what I built. Okay, that's the beginnings. I kind of like that. I'll put a door here. I'm underneath the tree. Yeah, Delvin, I definitely agree with you. Bike lanes are a better solution. However, you can't have too many bike lanes because we are car dependent. So if you put too many bike lanes in, at the moment, it's not going to be a good thing. All right, and I think I'm going to call it here in the game. Ooh, what's this? I'm just looking at the side. Debug pie. Oh, there's some fish over there. Let me actually see if I can get the fish. I do need some food. I don't have any weapons just yet. I don't know if they're fish are spawning at the moment. Oh, they went down deep. Come on, you can get it. Hey, I got one. Got one. Oh, there's a water thing. A water monster. I don't want to get that because I have no weapons right now. Gotta get out of the water. That must mean there's something off in the distance if there's a water monster nearby. I don't know if we can come up this far because it can't go. Oh, it can go out of the water. Partially, just not completely. Come on up, buddy. Can you come up this high? Oh, there's nothing else comes to get me. Okay, so its face has to stay underwater. that's not going to happen if I'm just slapping it, essentially. All right, so I'll have to build some weapons eventually. Okay. We're going to head back in my hut. We're going to call it here. And we're going to save and quit. Cool. All right. That's going to wrap it up for this week's Games and Storms live stream. I hope everybody enjoyed. So again, a little overview of the weather. Tomorrow, it looks like we may be seeing some flurries start early in the morning, but the bulk of it is not going to happen until after about noon. There are winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. They start at 10 a.m. So usually they start about an hour or two, before the storm actually comes through. So 10 a.m. means the bulk of it is not going to be happening till about midday, so noon. I would say, between 12 and 1 p.m. That's when we're going to see the bulk of this heavy snow. Some of these snow rates could be around 1 inch or more per hour. So it's going to be very short, where we're only seeing maybe 2 or 3 hours of snow before the transition to rain, or the transition to a wintry, icy mix, and then rain. But if we have 3 hours of heavy snow that is 1 inch per hour, we could be seeing 1 or 3 inches of snow in some of the areas here. But again, more north of New York City, that's where we're going to be seeing potentially up to 8 inches. Because if you have 1 inch or more an hour, let's say 2 inches of snow an hour, for 3 hours, there you go, you got 6 inches right there. Keep that in mind. Tomorrow morning is the only time you really want to get out and prep. Ideally, you should have done that already, or if you still have time tonight, go out and prep. But by midday tomorrow, you want to be done with your prep, be done with any grocery shopping you wanted to do. And also, because of the snow and ice that's going to be with the storm, you want to make sure you have an emergency plan with batteries in place, anything like that. So make sure your phones are fully charged. Ideally, make sure you have a NOAA weather radio. So if you lose internet, you can still listen to the weather forecast through the NOAA weather radio, and it can communicate different things like that. All right, so that wraps this up. Almost 1 second. Okay. One EV battery can make 400 e-bikes. Very interesting, but sounds about right. So my Tesla has about an 80 kilowatt hour battery. The motorcycle has a 15 kilowatt hour battery. I don't know what my electric bicycle has, but that definitely makes sense. The most efficient way for travel is electric bicycle, because they are the lightest. You can pick up very easily an electric bicycle. Yeah, they're heavier, maybe 30 pounds, but you can still pick up an electric bicycle. Cannot pick up very easily, or you can't completely pick up an electric motorcycle. If you tilt over, yeah, you can lean an electric motorcycle up, but you cannot pick it up. And electric cars, empty. My electric car, the Tesla, is 4,000 pounds. Once I load it up if I'm traveling somewhere with people in it plus luggage, that could be a 5,000 pound load. That's a heavy vehicle. And yes, the electric grid can't handle extremely cold temperatures, which is why I charged right before the storm started. So I have plenty of charge. And the other benefit to the electric car is it can act as a battery backup. So I do have in the electric car, actually my light is running from this portable battery pack that has AC outlets on it. I can plug this battery into the Tesla, and the Tesla will charge this external portable battery. So then I can have maybe 12 hours of light or something running. And then when that dies, I can plug it back into the Tesla. Yeah, it might take like 6 hours to charge, but I can maybe handle 6 hours of no electricity. I have a battery backup system like that. And the other point there, our grid cannot handle electric cars. That is true. However, the grid is not rigid. The grid is almost like a living being that is dynamic. So right now, the grid can't, if all of a sudden overnight everybody switches to electric vehicles, the grid cannot handle it. But that is physically impossible for everybody to switch from gas cars or diesel to electric overnight. So this gradual transition from fossil fuel to electric is going to match the transition of the grid and the improvement of the grid. So the grid's not going to be an issue. That was quite an interesting video I saw from, I think it was CNBC, where they basically said that is the grid's going to upgrade as the vehicles upgrade and transition to electric. All right, so on that note, let's wrap this up. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Yes, Delvin, I've watched Not Just Bikes, and a couple of people from work have recommended that too. That's the guy that moved from Canada to, I think the Netherlands. The Netherlands is way better for setup for bicycles than anywhere else. But yes, I believe that's the channel I watched, Not Just Bikes, and I really enjoyed it. And I've also enjoyed it in terms of infrastructure. Yes. Okay, good. That was the right one. I also liked that channel when they were talking about something called a strode. It was a combination, and they actually broke down what the difference is of a street and a road and this dangerous hybrid called a strode, which I have a strode that's probably about a mile away, or not even a mile away from where I am right now, and that's the main artery through where I live. And it is dangerous. So if you're walking and you're trying to walk across this strode, you're walking across 6 lanes of traffic to travel from, say, the mall with the movie theater to a Starbucks. You have to walk across 6 lanes of traffic. That's not good. Yeah, so that's definitely the channel I watched. So I really enjoyed the content from Not Just Bikes. So awesome recommendation. Thank you from you, Delvin. And also, I thank the couple people from work that have recommended that channel as well. All right, so have a great rest of your night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the stream. But wow, 2.5 hours. Thank you all for watching. Please stay safe and prepare appropriately for the storm tomorrow. Again, it's not going to be high snow totals, but it's going to be a combination of the 2 or 3 inches of snow, plus the ice, plus the rain and the flooding, plus the wind. That can cause, issues with the power grid and power lines coming down. So prepare for that. So have a great rest of your night, everybody. Thank you all for joining. And if anybody's new just watching this, feel free to hit that subscribe button below and then the little bell icon right next to that so you get notified whenever I go live like this or I upload videos, whether that's a weather short, less than 60 seconds for a weather forecast, or a weather video, a weather update video that could be a little bit longer, like 10, 12 minutes, something like that. So I hope you all enjoy. Please stay safe. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you all in the next video.